Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world. This is Pastor Dow. I know it's been quite some time since I last posted a video. And the reason being is because I wanted to actually step back for a moment or two and actually really truly take a good look at what's going on in the times that we're living in. Now, I know that many of you people, and I want you to listen to me real close, are religious in nature. I'm not that. I'm not religious. I follow the scriptures because the Most High has given his people laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments, and that's what I follow. So I'm not religious, and many of you keep using the term, you can choose and pick your religion or whatever you want to be, but I didn't choose a religion. I did not pick a religion, and neither should you. Now, if you want to do that, it's none of my business. It's up to you. Do what you want to do, because every man, whether we like it or not, we're all going to be standing before the creator of the universe one day. And that's the truth. And there ain't nothing we're going to do about it. Now, getting to some of the civil unrest that is taking place in Tunisia and Egypt. And I will mention Ireland, Greece, and Spain up in the European nations. And I want you to follow me for a second because I'm going to talk to you straight up here. The way I get insight and the way I understand what's going on here in the world is I go to the greatest history book that there has ever been written. I go to the scriptures. I do not read the scriptures from the perspective of the way that the United States of America and its churches, who are nothing but de facto institutions from the Roman Catholic Church coming from England and Rome. I don't follow that persuasion, nor do I follow that perspective, ideology, or theology. But I actually go back to the scriptures where our ancient people come from. And I look at things and I view things from the perspective of the Most High of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob, or Jacob. That's where I get my perspective from. Because it was Joseph who actually taught the Egyptian senators wisdom. And of course, senators is not a word that was made conducive to our people, but it comes from a different institution. Now, to make sense of what's going on here in this world, many people will get on here because they love to hear my perspective about silver and gold, or some people think that I'm political that could be nothing farther from the truth. I'm as far as from politics as that ever could be, if there ever was a person that there was. I did a message this past Sabbath, and I actually talked a little bit about why I talk about certain things as far as making these little individual videos. But what I want to get to is that when you look in the countries, or the way that the layout of this world is today, the preacher teaches me in Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun. So you have countries, that have presidents, prime ministers, and all this. But the truth is, they're kings. You can call them presidents. You can call them whatever you want. And they have the people that are behind him, such as what they call their Congress or the courts. That is their court. But what we have running today, and the reason why the world is upside down and in civil unrest, is because we have a few greedy people, rich people, who promote the system of capitalism. And their greed is running from one end of the earth to the next. And what they have done is they have controlled the people who are controlling each of the nations. And so they don't care who's ruling the nations. As long as they're controlling the money, then they control the dictators or the presidents or the kings or the princes, the queens, or whatever they want to be. And so what you have going on in Egypt, or the land of Ham, that you have been taught to call Africa, is that you've got a bunch of people rebelling against U.S. domination of control puppets that they put in place. Or they may have an Arab face, or they may have the face that fits that country, but you've got people who are influenced by American policy, who are influenced by the West, who are influenced by the United States of America, who are dictating the policies, and they're controlling the people, the masses of the people, through the puppets that they have put in place. And what's happening now is that the people in Tunisia and the people in Egypt are rising up. Enough is enough. They're sick and tired of it. Now, what you need to pay close attention to, that's the reason why that the subject of racism will never go away. You look at the type of news media and coverage that has taken place in Egypt and Tunisia as opposed to Spain and Greece when they have civil uprising up there in those European nations. That's because the news media think that, hey, the only people that can actually be what they will call, quote unquote, savages are the people that are dwelling in the South country. But the truth is, those people up in the northern country are getting just as fed up with this system as the people are all across the world. But what's amazing is that you don't get the same news media. It's biased. You don't get the same coverage of what's going on up there in the northern countries as you get the cameras that are going on over here. So they shut down the internet, and they shut down cell phones, and they shut down every forms of communication possible. But yet and still, what's going on over in Egypt is still getting out. You've got people dying because they're sick and tired of American European colonialism. That's true. That's basically what it is. And the reason why we're having trouble today with China is because China is not coming into the New World Order. They want to be the New World Order. They're not falling under the banner of the European Union. These nations that have gotten together and made a pact and a treaty to dominate and rule over us peasants. And that's the way they look at it. And so we trust in America, because we have been trained, we trust every single thing that the news media and the people who in front of us, we trust everything they say. I don't. I served in the United States military for 10 years. I don't trust them one bit. Every time I see a politician talking, I can't help but to have a negative and pessimistic attitude towards what I'm hearing, because as I have learned over the years, as long as their mouth is moving, they are lying. They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin. They lied about JFK. They lied about World War I and World War II. They lied about Vietnam. And they have definitely lied about the Iraq War, and they lied about 9/11. They lied about it. And still, what is it? What is the problem? That people refuse to wake up out of sleep. Well, because you're going to have a people, especially you people who work for the government, as long as they're giving you a paycheck, you are for them. You are for them, because that is how you are basically going to support you and your family. And that's the trump card that they use to get you to bow down and to serve them. And so it's not going to be a problem for you working for the government to fire upon and, even if necessary, kill your brethren like they did in the Civil War here in this wicked country called the United States of America. I mean, the Indians have been fighting terrorism ever since 1492. When the European settlers came over here, or I should say the European savages, but when they came over here, they signed treaties. They broke every single one of them. They lied to them. They raped, robbed, murdered, pillaged, and killed the American, so-called, quote-unquote, American Indians, or in the land of Astros. But they killed them, and they lied to them. And then they huddled them all together, and they put them on reservations. Now, see, this is the truth. It's amazing. I grew up in the same public school system many you did, and I never learned this type of history. I didn't learn this type of history until I started exercising self-autonomy, until I started searching things out for myself. And I found out that our schools, they're there to do that. They're there to school you in their school of thought. And they don't want you to know history, because if you know history, you can pretty much chart what's getting ready to take place, because there's nothing new under the sun, and people are not different. I don't care how complex you may think that we have advanced because of technology, people are just not hard to understand. And if you don't know history, you're destined to repeat the same mistakes of the past. So we had a people come from one land, come over to another land, and had the people who were settlers told them, you call us settlers, but we're going to call you savages. And it's that school of thought that is still permeated and ruling today. So when you go to your court systems or what they call the justice system, you're never going to get any justice from, because you can't get justice from a satanic system. That's all there is to it, because Satan is ruling it. Fiat currency is Satan's system. That's the reason why it's going to fall, because it's Satan's system. That's all there is to it. And there ain't nothing that's going to change. Now, the reason why I get on here is hope that some of you, and there's not many, believe me, just a few of you will be able to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And that's all it is. It's only going to be a few. It's not going to be many. So they have duped and deceived. And that's why I tell you, you need to cut off this so-called American propaganda, so-called news media, because it ain't going to do you a bit. You need to get outside of the United States and see things from what the world is reporting is, so you can get a well-rounded view. Because these fake Barbie dolls who have got body enhancements in their breast and butt and everything else, if they're phony and they're imitation liars, even in natural body and stuff, what do you think they are when they get up there in front of that camera and they talk to you? Huh? So we need to really truly wake up, because what you see happening over across that pond, we're only a few months away from it over here. The only difference is with the United States of America, because we were an industrialized nation. The only difference with us is, you see, those countries over there, they have disarmed the citizens. Did you hear what I said? They have disarmed the citizens through their laws that they have made. And over here in America, almost every household has a gun. If not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so when you see over there in Egypt, people getting shot dead, point blank range on the streets, getting firebombed, and getting shot by shotguns, and people are dying and stuff, and the only recourse these people got is to throw stones back and forth at each other. When you see that happening over there, you better believe it's going to be a different story over here. The American public may be docile, and these people may be demoralized because they trust in a wicked system, but some are going to wake up. But when you start seeing a protest take place on the streets here in America, you're going to see a bloodbath like you have never, ever, ever seen on the face of this planet Earth. There will be a bloodbath, a big, major, gigantic bloodbath. Because if you got police firing up on citizens and killing them, there's going to be a crossfire. There's going to be something in this country, a weep and a howl. Martial law is not going to help. All the laws that they want to try to pass is not going to help. The curfews that they may want to try to put you on lockdown, it's not going to work. You're going to have it in major, major, major uprising and major, major insurrection. Now, it's not insurrection when the people are fighting for their freedom, because these people have told us that we're free, but you look at all this terrorism that we're under here in America by our own United States Congress, the president, the outhouse, and the laws that they pass along with this phony judicial system. Now, I personally believe in the laws. I sit here and I look at this book right here for a second. For instance, here we've been trained in America to talk about, well, we're not under that law. You stupid, idiotic people. You got 613 something laws that the Most High does nothing but try to help you to be a better person, but also to know who your king is. And then you have 1 million something laws on the books here in America, and you're subject to every single one of them, and they will tell you when you get in front of their judges, in front of their system, that ignorance of the law is no excuse. You see, you learn this kind of behavior from your churches. That's why I am not a Christian. Do you understand that? I'm not a Christian. I'm an Israelite. And that's the bottom line. And I come from this perspective in every single thing I do in life. So money is getting ready to fail. You better believe it. And silver and food is the only thing that's going to be able to get you through. Money's going to fail here in America. And the only way that people are going to be able to survive is by food. That's why you have to have a network of trustworthy people. I've tried over the years to get what you would so-called men of God together. And I found out that a lot of them are envious, a lot of them are jealous, a lot of them are hypocrites. They talk one thing, but when you watch their footprint and footstep, they do another. They don't line up with their lips. And the sad part about it is that a lot of people are going to perish when you look at these people who constantly desensitize you by words, but their actions don't line up to it. You see, we're bound and we're gagged by every single thing, but we're not free like we say we are. Now, the only way you're going to get free, you're going to start exercising freedom for yourself. And that's true. So what you see happening in the world, we're only a few months away from it over here. And the American news media, they're not there to tell you the truth. They're there to report news as the establishment sees it, meaning the corporations. And all of your politicians are controlled by the people who control the money. Do you understand that? And if you don't understand, I can't help you. So you can get offended with me whatsoever. It all makes no difference. Listen to me. I'm not for the populace or the majority. Only the few that has the ears to hear. I can care less if people don't want to hear or not. If you do hear, and you can hear, and you are preparing, then you are my brother, and you are my sister. But if you are against the ways of the Most High, if you are against freedom, or if you're against righteousness and holiness and truth, then you're not my brother. You're not my sister. As a matter of fact, you are my enemy. And if you ever become a personal enemy with me, you made a serious mistake. But if you are a friend of mine, then both of us have made a very good decision. Because I will be a friend that will stick closer than a brother, and I will be a friend that loveth at all times. But if I'm done with you and I'm finished with you, you already done charted the course. You done drew the line in the sand yourself. You drew the line in the sand, I draw the line in the concrete. When I'm finished, I'm finished. I've learned over years that it takes time to learn somebody's real true nature and character. And the way I'm able to discern and know all men, my integrity and my honor, which I guard very closely, is not going to ever be in question. Oh, you may question it, but it won't stick one bit. I'm a man of honor and a man of integrity, and I preach that and I teach that because holiness is what my king teaches. And there's a highway there, and it's called a highway of holiness. And that is the truth. And I hope that you can get there. But if you don't, none of my business. It ain't that you have not been told. You've got to come out of your training. See, all you people that go out here and get your college education and degrees, I've got college myself. But you go out there, you get your college education degrees, and yet you can't think but the way that they train you, then what have you learned? What have you got? You got nothing. We got food shortages going on all across America. I will even share with you what I told the people 2 weeks ago down in South Carolina. When you see floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, mudslides, the West Coast burning up here in the United States and the East Coast flooding, these snows, cows falling dead by the tune of 10,000 an island, birds falling out of the skies, when you see earthquakes and volcanoes erupting, all this stuff, when you see this stuff, that should tell you one thing. You better go out and buy some food, because within a month or two, prices are getting ready to surge and they're getting ready to rise to astronomical levels. Because we are a global people in this world, whether you like it or not. And we get a lot of stuff imported in, and we are exporting very, very, very little nowadays. That's why the powers that be, these wicked devils, they're finished with this country. This country has ran its course. You can forget about this dumb junk. I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free. You free, huh? All right. Then try to go out there and do something that you call free against what they call their laws. And you're going to find out real quick how free you are. So my job is to wake up the people for the kingdom. Hallelujah. Now, I live free. I surely do. I understand that when I get outside these gates and I hit that road and I go up the road and I get into town, I'm subject to their laws. Because the laws and the statutes and the commandments and the judgment that I follow is higher than any law in the universe. I don't have to worry about transgressing their laws, because his laws teach me what real true freedom is. And the truth is, you would never ever be free, and you would never know what real true freedom is if you cannot submit to the commandments of the Most High Yah. And that's the truth. So you don't know what real true freedom is. So when I go out here because the laws and the statutes and commandments and the judgments that I submit to and I serve and I yield to freely, there's no law in his land that I can break when I submit to his supreme law, because his ways are higher than our ways. So that's the reason why I don't do too much talking nowadays, and I'm probably going to pull back even more, because, hey, you can only say so much words. I'm not here to try to put a defibrillator on you. I'm not here trying to jumpstart your mind or something. I cannot give you the ears to hear. That's between you and the Most High. I can only just warn the people that have the ears to hear, and those days are coming. Hey, if they shut down the internet in Egypt, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to shut down communications and all communication lines amongst us as a people when civil unrest takes place here in America. And because you're not ready and you have not prepared yourself, you're still in debt. The Bible, which means you won't read the scriptures, it clearly tells us the rich ruleth over the poor. How do they do that? They do it through debt. And a borrower is a servant to the lender. So if you ask me my honest opinion, I think you're pretty foolish for having a mortgage. I really do. I think it's probably one of the most unintelligent things that you can do. Now, we can't cry or spill milk. What we need to do is get free from that so that we're not serving the enemy any longer. The rich have learned through their laws, through their laws, do what they call their judicial system, how to continually keep us as a people suppressed. I have enemies of my own blood. I have enemies who people I've never even met that just literally hate me. But you listen to what I'm saying and listen to it real closely. I don't feel sorry for any of you people out there that listen to these jackleg preachers and teachers who are fleecing you. Got you giving them money left and right and stuff. And then when a real true man of God comes along, all of a sudden it's like pulling our teeth to even get you to send $5 to them, because they're really truly giving a message out, trying their best to warn the people of the Most High. You'll sit here and give money to these lying institutions, TD Snakes, TBN, Creflo Dollar, Fred Polk, Benny Hinn, and all this, man, because they preach to your sensational feelings, soulish realm of you, because that's what you want to hear. And in that you ignore the truth. Well, you're going to find out all of them was wolves in sheep clothing. They did not prepare you for what's getting ready to come. This is Pastor Dowell. You better have some food. And you better have some guns. And you better have some ammo. And you better get a good understanding of that commandment that says thou shalt not kill. Because if you come from a Christian perspective, you're going to get murdered, robbed, and raped, and pillaged by the same institution that came over here and stole this land from the Indians and the Mexicans. You keep on trusting in that system, you're going to perish after that system. David said, my God teaches me, and he made my hands for war. And he that warreth a good warfare does not entangle himself with the affairs of this life. You better get you some silver. You better get you plenty of food. Silver's just about drying up. You had better get a bunch of food. Because when that spine hits that, when that belly hits that spine, and it's going to do it, and those children come to you looking for you to feed them, and you ain't got no answers but your ignorance, your chaotic ignorance that you refuse to actually see and open up your eyes to see what's really truly going on, there's going to be a weeping howl. And I wouldn't doubt if even some of your own family members would turn on you. And that's just the truth. And that's the true straight way. So you need to get away from these wicked pastors that are not warning you. Get out of these so-called Christian churches, because they're not doing you a lick of good. You're definitely not growing in character. You're not growing in nature. You're definitely not growing in spirit. You go and get a little sensationalism, something like that, and you say you got the Holy Spirit, but yet you're not Torah observant. Isn't that something? What kind of spirit is that you would have that not lead you to obey what the word says? So what you see over across the big pond is coming right here in the United States of America, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. The land grab is on. It is on. The storm clouds have been gathering for quite some time.